Video games and movies, two worlds that, when combined, can create something truly spectacular. Or not. But what happens when a beloved game like Doom makes the leap to the big screen? Does it deliver the same adrenaline-pumping thrill, or does it get lost in translation? Welcome. Today we're taking a deep into Doom 2005, a movie that took one of the most iconic first-person shooters and turned it into a sci-fi action flick. Was it a successful mission, or did it fail to hit the target? Stick around to find out. In the year 2046, humanity has established a research facility on Mars known as the Ordway Research Station. This facility, operated by the Union Aerospace Corporation (UAC), conducts experiments that push the boundaries of science. However, when a portal known as the Ark accidentally opens the door to something sinister, the base goes silent, and all hell breaks loose literally. Enter the Rapid Response Tactical Squad RTS, a team of elite marines led by the no-nonsense Sarge, played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Alongside him are his team members, including the brooding Reaper Karl and the conflicted Duke Razaaq Adoti. Their mission: secure a facility, find out what happened, and neutralize any threats. But as they descend into the depths of the station, they quickly realize that the threat is far more terrifying than they imagined. Genetic experiments have created monstrous creatures, and survival becomes the only objective. The movie's plot is a straightforward survival story, drawing heavily on the atmosphere and elements of the original video game, while attempting to inject its own brand of horror and action. Let's start by talking about the visual effects and world building, which are some of the movie's stronger points. The filmmakers did an impressive job of bringing the grim, claustrophobic environment of the Mars base to life. The set design is a faithful nod to the video game, with its dark, labyrinthine corridors and eerie atmosphere. The use of dim lighting, narrow spaces, and a generally bleak color palette helps to build tension, keeping the audience on edge as they anticipate what might be lurking around the next corner. One of the standout aspects of the film is its use of practical effects in conjunction with CGI to create the various monsters that the Marines encounter. The creatures, known as demons in the game, are given a gritty, organic look that feels realistic and terrifying. This combination of practical and digital effects works well to immerse the audience in the horror elements of the film. The design of these monsters draws inspiration from classic creature features, with grotesque mutations and unsettling movements that add to the film's overall atmosphere. The cinematography deserves special mention, particularly the use of handheld camera work during the action scenes. This technique gives the film a raw, almost documentary-like feel, which heightens the intensity of the Marines' battles against the creatures. The most notable example of this is the now famous first-person shooter sequence, a direct homage to the game. This scene, shot entirely from the perspective of Reaper, mimics the gameplay of Doom, complete with weapon hordes and the visceral, fast-paced action that fans of the game will recognize instantly. It's a bold creative choice that stands out as one of the film's highlights. Moving on to the performances, Dwayne Johnson as Sarge is exactly what you'd expect: a commanding presence with a mix of bravado and intensity. His character undergoes an interesting transformation as the movie progresses, shifting from a disciplined leader to someone consumed by the chaos around him. Johnson's portrayal adds layers to what could have been a straightforward action hero, making Sarge one of the more memorable characters in the film. Karl as Reaper also delivers a strong performance. Reaper serves as the film's emotional anchor, dealing with a personal connection to the events unfolding at the base. Urban brings a sense of gravitas to the role, balancing the character's internal conflict with the physical demands of battling the creatures. His chemistry with Johnson is a key element of the film, providing tension and a sense of camaraderie that keeps the team dynamic interesting. Another aspect worth noting is the direction by Andrzej Bartkowiak, who is known for his work in action films like Romeo Must Die and Exit Wounds Barkowiak, brings his experience with action choreography to Doom, ensuring that the film's pacing is brisk and the action scenes are well executed. The tight framing and quick cuts during combat sequences create a sense of urgency, keeping viewers engaged even when the plot itself may falter. While Doom has its strengths, it's far from a perfect film. One of the most significant issues is its plot, which feels underdeveloped and, at times, generic. The story sticks closely to the basic premise of the video game arenas battling monsters on Mars, but it doesn't add much depth beyond that. The script, co-written by David Kalam and Wesley Strick, fails to flesh out the characters or explore the intriguing possibilities of the setting. As a result, the movie feels more like a series of action set pieces strung together by a thin narrative. Character development is another area where the film falls short. While Sarge and Reaper are given some backstory, the rest of the Marines are largely one-dimensional, serving as little more than canon fodder. This lack of character depth makes it difficult for the audience to connect with them or care about their fates. Even the interactions between the Marines, which could have provided moments of levity or tension, are often reduced to cliched military banter. The pacing of the film, while generally fast, suffers from uneven moments that detract from the overall experience. There are times when the movie rushes through important plot points, leaving little room for tension to build. For instance, the revelation about the nature of the creatures and the genetic experiments feels hurried and underexplored, missing an opportunity to deepen the horror elements of the story. On the flip side, some action scenes are drawn out to the point of redundancy, making them less impactful. Additionally, the film struggles with balancing its horror and action elements. While the game is known for its blend of fast-paced shooting and atmospheric horror, the movie leans more heavily on action, often at the expense of building suspense. The result is a film that doesn't fully commit to either genre, leaving it feeling somewhat disjointed. Fans of the game might find the horror elements too subdued, while action enthusiasts might find the pacing inconsistent. When comparing Doom to other video game adaptations, it's clear that the film falls into the category of movies that struggle to translate the source material effectively to the big screen. Unlike the Resident Evil series, which managed to carve out a niche by leaning into its horror roots, Doom seems uncertain about its identity, wavering between being a sci-fi horror film and an action-packed blockbuster. And Razaaq Adot's direction in Doom is consistent with his previous work, focusing heavily on the visual and action elements. However, unlike Romeo Must Die or Crowded to the Grave, where action drives the narrative forward, Doom feels more like a collection of set pieces without a strong narrative thread to tie them together. The movie's attempt to recreate the video game experience, while admirable in scenes like the first-person shooter sequence, doesn't always translate well to the screen, leading to a film that can feel more like a gimmick than a cohesive story. Despite its flaws, Doom has moments that are genuinely entertaining, especially for fans of the video game. The attention to detail in replicating the game's aesthetic is commendable. The design of the weapons, the look of the Mars base, and the eerie, metallic corridors all contribute to a sense of authenticity that fans of the franchise will appreciate. The movie's commitment to creating a visually immersive environment is one of its strongest points. The sound design also plays a significant role in building the atmosphere. The metallic clang of doors, the echoing footsteps in empty hallways, and the guttural growls of the monsters all add to the sense of dread that permeates the facility. These elements, combined with the dark, moody lighting, help to create a world that feels dangerous and foreboding, even if the story doesn't always support it. Additionally, the practical effects used to create the creatures are worth noting. While CGI is used, particularly in the more complex action scenes, The decision to use practical effects for close-ups and physical interactions with the monsters adds a layer of realism that enhances the horror elements. The makeup and prosthetics work, particularly on the imps and the mutated humans, are grotesque in the best possible way, paying homage to the creature designs from the game while adding a unique cinematic twist. The dialogue in Doom is, for the most part, serviceable, but there are a few memorable lines that stand out, particularly from Dwayne Johnson's character Sarge. One of the most iconic moments is when Sarge, after facing the monstrous threat, declares "Semper Fi, Mother Fair" before engaging in a brutal fight. This line encapsulates the character's descent into a kind of militaristic madness, showcasing Johnson's ability to deliver tough guy lines with conviction. Another notable quote comes from Leopold, who, in a moment of reflection, says, "I'm not supposed to do this line simple as it is," captures the existential dread that underpins the character's journey. It's a rare moment of vulnerability in an otherwise action-packed film, giving Karl Urban a chance to add depth to his character. In conclusion, Doom 2005 is a mixed bag. It succeeds in some areas, particularly in its visual and practical effects, and it offers a few moments of genuine excitement, especially for fans of the video game. The first-person shooter sequence is a standout moment that showcases the film's potential to capture the essence of the game. However, the movie falls short in its storytelling and character development, leaving it feeling more like a collection of cool moments rather than a cohesive narrative. The lack of depth in the plot and the underdeveloped characters make it difficult to fully invest in the story. Additionally, the uneven pacing and the struggle to balance horror and action elements prevent the film from achieving its full potential. For fans of the Doom franchise, the movie might be worth a watch for the nostalgia and the visual nods to the game. However, for general audiences looking for a solid sci-fi horror film, Doom might not hit the mark. It's an interesting attempt at bringing a beloved video game to the big screen, but ultimately, it doesn't quite live up to the legacy of its source material. So, if you're curious to see how Doom translates from game to film, give it a go, but don't set your expectations too high. And for those of you who've seen it, what did you think? Did it do justice to the game, or was it a missed opportunity? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more movie insights. Until next time, keep exploring the world of cinema, one frame at a time.